As we draw closer and closer to our days right here, guys, the battles are just getting more intense. Welcome, everyone, to the Valorant Game Changers APAC series. Stage 1, Open 4. We will be your casters for the substream. My name is Zaya, and with me is Zach. So we have just witnessed yesterday's matches that there are two rookie teams, or two news name teams, specifically Thirst Red, which we'll be seeing later on, versus Bren Victress, and of course Sovereign as well, who really did put up a good fight from yesterday's matches against their respective opponents from Nigma Galaxy specifically. So for this specific stream, guys, we will be seeing the battle between one of the veteran teams, which is Bren Victress, formerly known as TC Arise, and now into a new name, versus a very fresh and new team who's very much on their feet, really thriving and thirsting for blood here. And of course, Zach, how are you? Congratulations again for being a mentee for FSL, and how are you feeling today?
I am feeling absolutely fantastic and really excited to be here. A bit sleep deprived because I think yesterday's games went on for a long time and I had to come in today morning as well. But that's all worth it because this is really fantastic. Like you mentioned, today's game is going to be between Thirst Reds versus Bren Victress here. And let me mention, I'm so glad that these girls got picked up because they every single open, especially last year, they put on like such a good show going into this event here. So and definitely, like, since they've gotten picked up, they've got that org buff as well. In fact, they almost took it away against Alter Ego yesterday, who are of course the queens of APAC. In fact, they managed to beat them on their map pick after like an extended overtime. So definitely proving themselves extremely strong. But Thirst Reds, they've been the dark horse here. They managed to take down Extend Crit, who was at the second place before this open started when it came to the points here. They managed to take out Orangutan yesterday, and well, they've just been wreaking havoc.
Indeed, I agree with you on that, because you mentioned they are the dark horses. They were able to really topple down one of the knights that we have from the previous APAC series again, and they were also responsible for X10 Crit not being able to be here on the playoffs right now. But you know what, first and foremost, before anything else, let's take a little peek of the calendar of events later on. And of course, here in stage 1, we have done everything from opens 1 to 3, and now we are into the third day of the open 4. And of course, this is the substream, so of course the mainstream is also happening as well in the FSL on Twitch, and of course here. And right now on stage 2, there will be the APAC series, which is open overtime. On stage 3, that is going to happen on June 30th to July 3rd. Stage 3 is going to be basically the last chance, which is going to happen on August. And finally, for the final stage of our calendar, it's going to be Elite, which is going to be on the 1st and 2nd October, and then 8th and 9th October, respectively.
Yeah, and it's really exciting to note this because 8 teams in total qualify, so the top 3 from this open will make it. And it's not just about the qualification spot, it's also about a little bit of moolah in the pocket. We have a grand total of $5,000 for the prize pool. First place walking away with 1.5, second with 1,200, third with 800, and fourth, fifth, and sixth. In fact, everybody who makes it to playoffs does get something. But of course, those top 3, they're looking like the big bucks here, I would say.
Indeed, I agree with you on that, Zach. And of course, it's not just a prize pool alone or the bragging rights, but it's also your spot for the upcoming stages to come, as you guys have seen into the calendar. And of course, before anything else, before the playoffs actually went on, there's like numerous teams that underwent the group stages. If I'm not mistaken, 3 groups in each 3 teams in each group, so we all went to Group E. So if I got my math right, that's at 64. But you know what, I'm not really good at numbers, but I'm just making a guess. Right? But looking at your screens at the moment, we do see familiar names as well, of course, including our veterans or reigning queens as well. But we do also see new names and new faces, and 2 of them have actually qualified themselves for the playoffs, in which we will be able to see the corresponding teams for later. So just a quick just run through of the playoffs team. We do have our queens once again, Alter Ego Celeste, we have Bren Victress, we have SMG, Orangutan, and Galaxy, who just came back, and also Arresta. And the two newer teams that we have today is what we're gonna, really find out on to their battles, which is going to be Thirst Thread and Sovereign, which have been very much doing an exemplary performance here in the Open Four.
Yeah, and this is something really interesting to see because their shreds they've gotten so close to qualifying before, but this is the
Mm-hmm.
first time we're actually seeing them here in these playoffs. And I think it was a bit unfortunate for them, but one of their first matchups it was against Sovereign here, so they managed to get reverse swept there. But they are still fighting hard from the lower brackets. But today they have to go up against, like you mentioned, one of the veteran teams, which is
Mm-hmm.
Bren. And let's take a look at Bren's roster here to see exactly what they're contending against. So one of
Mm-hmm.
the things that I think is most notable about Bren Victress is that there's not exactly one player who stands out. Every game, they all manage to step up as a whole, and it's that
Definitely.
coordination that usually nets them like victories. So of course you have Alexi, Ali, Mikasi, Shirazi, and Zinni. And of all these players, I think someone who really stood out for me, who has improved tremendously, and more than that, is just absolutely insane on that chamber. It's going to be Zinni. We saw her on the chamber in Reach yesterday, and man, she gave us a show to watch.
Hmm. Loving as well the trend coming in from Bren Victress, because if you notice their names, they all rhyme. Alexi, Ali, Mikasi, Zini, Shirazi. They're spitting bars literally here, also into their name. And of course, before anything else, we also got to see or get to see the roster for the Dark Horses who have entered Open for and actually took down two of really the great teams or the known teams here. We do have Thirst Red, we have Afterglow, Dumpling, Ratatouille, Shabby, and Wee Wee right here in towards our roster. Look at them really looking fine at the moment. And the good thing about these team as well is if you say that Brent Victress, each individually, they do have their moments to shine. This is also a very good feature for Thirst Red. Afterglow has been very much good for her team in terms of being the Sentinel and controller. Dumpling as well does outshine more, especially in clutch moment. Ratatouille is such a very reliable duelist as well for her team, giving all of that space, especially when her teams are giving her space for it. Shabby is such a monstrous chamber. Like, if I have seen the stats, she hasn't really, she has a very positive stats in terms of her chamber select. I think she only lost just twice for Open 4. And of course, you also have Wee Wee, who's been literally saying yes in French, and with
Oui,
all
oui.
of those, yes, with all of those battles that she faces, or even the clutch potential that she has as well. So in a bit, we're going to see the map picks of our respective teams as well, just to see how things are going to pan out right here. And of course, as if on cue, thank you so much for Rectory. You know how to make
Yeah,
it work.
the
Well,
timings are perfect here, I swear. So the first
mhm.
map is going to be Bren, and they've chosen Bind here, which is pretty interesting because this is a map. If you look at the statistics, it's a map that they're fairly comfortable on. I would
Mhm,
say they
mhm.
played it quite a bit. In fact, I think it was Alter Ego's instant ban yesterday. They're like, nope, we don't want to face Bren on Bind, and all good. So yeah, we are gonna be heading into Bind for the first map of the day. But this is the thing. The second map is Fracture, and so far in this open, I think that Thirst Reds is undefeated on it. In fact, the first time they played it against Sovereign, they took it 13-2, like
Mhm.
dominating.
Indeed. And of course, the deciding map is going to be split here. This is a chosen map as a decider map. But looking at the real quick stats for both sides of the team, for the side of Thirst, it's quite balanced in terms of their attacking and their defending side on split. With Bren, however, they do have more chances. The both of their attacking and defense are also high, but I think they're quite comfortable more on the defending side. So we have yet to see, because they're split. They also do have a pretty good streak there as well, winning it 7 times out of 9. For Thirst, however, they do also have a very good stand there, which is they won it 2 out of 3 times as well into their split. So basically, in towards this map selection that we have, it's very much favorable, respectively, on their sides. I do expect a little bit more advantage or a bit more dominance for Bren Victress in towards Bind, simply because not only they have like a ton of exposure towards Bind itself, but also they have been in a lot of games in here for the side of Vine. It's as if it's peanut butter and jelly for them at this point. So I do expect, at least for the likes of Bren Victress, they will be having a bit of a dominating fight here, unless of course I jinx it because caster's curse moment. But then again, come into game number 2. I feel like it's still going to be a very close one because, again, Thirst Thread's performance, they do have the capability to really turn the tables around, even if we do see it or we do feel it as a very dire moment for them. So, Zach, learning all of these, especially for the likes of Thirst Red, knowing that they're facing one of the titans of our stages or our playoffs right now, what do you think is like the best play for Team Thirst here, just so that they can really have a more balanced play in towards Bind, into Bren's territory?
I think they are definitely gonna have a hard time here. They are starting off on defense though, so looking at the comps that they usually, at least they favored so far, when it comes to Bind, they've gone for a bit of a conventional one. They've gone for the double Initiator, Sentinel, Brimstone. Of course, I like this Brimstone pick, by the way, because it gives them, while it just reduces the potential for executes, it does make it a little bit better because Brimstone comes with a lot of utility for stalling. Apart from the smokes, you do have that Molotov available, and they even run a KO sometimes, so that might be pretty instrumental in shutting down some of those more aggressive pushes coming in from Bren. But the thing is, it's going to come down to how well they can hold on and the kind of trades they can get, because that's where Bren really excels here. Even if they lose one of their players, they get information from it and they manage to capitalize on it to make the round somehow work in their favor. And unless they're able to break that synergy going in, it's gonna be a bit tough for Thirst Threads on Bind. I think that the thing is though, even if they don't do well on Bind, they do have Fracture coming up, and I think that's a map where I don't think they've ever been defeated. I think they lost once to SMG in one of the other opens, but so far in Fracture they are looking incredibly strong. They beat Sovereign here, Sovereign 13-2 on that, and I think yesterday it was 13-8. They managed to take 13-10. Sorry, they managed to take it away from Orangutan as well. So definitely a map where they feel extremely comfortable. And again, Fracture is one of those maps which is quite often an instant ban for most teams. So it might be a map where, perhaps Bren is looking weak. They haven't gotten enough practice. But anyway, no speculation from our side. We're going to be heading into Agent Select and Bind really soon here. So let's see how it goes.
Indeed, and of course, here is going to be the quick, drone shots of Bind. For those who are actually new in towards the game, this is a very nice bind pick as well for the map. Simply because Bind has the teleporters to use from that. You can bait out audio cues as well, and the mid side is also very interesting because as narrow as it is, it can also be a potential to sandwich your enemy team. So we are going here in towards the draft select. You guys look, it's very, very nice, very, very classy, very cool. So here in towards our respective agent compositions, I am seeing chamber for both sides of the team. Shabi and Ali definitely taking that for them, and they do have respective healers as well. The only difference is, of course, Afterglow will be going for the Sky, Alexi for the Sage. These Sage walls and Bind is very, very much good as well, because it can be very much cheeky and can also deny or delay any potential pushes from a certain team. Both of our teams will be having Brimstone as a smoker. This is also very much standard in towards Bind. Not only you have 3 smokes to spare, but this time the Steam Beacon and of course the Molly as well has been very much effective, especially for post-plant situations. And of course, they're still gonna stick to their guns, sticking into their duelist pick as well. That's at this point really much a comfort for both sides of the team. In terms of agent selection, it's quite fundamental for a certain map pick or in bind pick specifically, because this is the usual lineup that you see, and actually in most of the teams. We don't really see anything new here. There's no Yoru, there's no Neon or anything that is out of the ordinary at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, I'm going to have to double check that later when we get into the game. But I think I saw a fade. But you know what? Maybe it's just hovered. I have to double check that later.
You're right. There was a fade coming.
Yeah, I have to see that.
Yeah.
Because if there is a fade, I'm gonna take everything back what I said. There is something new. But if there's none, then it's still fundamental. But then again, at least to what you seen earlier, Zach. What are your expectations for at least the agent compositions here for both sides?
quite. I would say actually Bren is looking incredibly strong with that double initiator, especially Fate, because we saw them in action yesterday and they looked absolutely fantastic on Fracture. So again, Bind is one of those smaller maps where those prowlers, for example, or that haunt can give you a lot of information that your team can
Indeed,
really
indeed.
capitalize on. So I think that you'll be seeing a lot of her, and of course, Nightfall. That ultimate is one of the ones with the bigger range here. I think it covers most of both the sites. So definitely, again, a lot of information, and it makes things so confusing for the defense if they can get it in the right spot at the right time. So of course, that is something that the side of Thirst might not be prepared for, and of course, Raze. Well, like you mentioned, this is the duelist of choice for Bayern for multiple reasons. Because again, so many plays you can make with the satchel. We've seen that before from Hookah towards the back of B side. You know, you toss a recon or flash in there. You just go in gun swinging, and of course, usually with the judge as well. It's one of the one of the more dangerous weapons you see on this map, especially with the Razor or Jet. So of course, Ratatouille's and I think Mikasi are both fantastic when it comes to this particular agent. And again, utility kit coming in from Raze, it's so perfect because it clears out Hookah. I think use it to clear out showers with just the Boom Buddy. And yeah, it's really good to see. Either way, though, it seems like the side of Bren, they want to head up that A short. Two players waiting towards showers as well. Fade ready with the haunt. The Prowler, in fact, going through first, though. Getting a little bit of info. They will hear that Frenzy coming through. And Tuli, she's going to put down those Fade shells to try and stay alive. But no, she's not reloading in the open. And that's a spike going down quickly on the back of that pick. The retake is on after getting one.
Indeed. Okay, so right now we do see Afterglow was able to take that trade after Shirazi taking down one from the team. So that is going to be a trade for Mikasi. Once again, a little bit of a half health. That right click will not push Shirazi. Dumpling will be taking Zinni down, but Mikasi with the pain shells takes Dumpling, and Mikasi for the third is going to be a fourth here. Uses the jiggle pick to get a 4K. Beautifully done to start off our match right here, Zach. And of course, as you've mentioned it, the utilities and their kits are very much effective here. And the only thing that we have to see is how synchronized are they going to do it for this specific map. So just going back real quick, I have confirmed it right now. Zinni will be using Fade. I like it though how Zinni has been using Fade for quite some times here. And look at this quick replay here because he's just being very much mobile in terms of our map, which actually proves your point here, Zach, that with the Raze, the mobility needed for this bind is just really demonstrated by now. But look here! What an interesting sight! There's Shred pushing from behind!
Yeah, that breaking off the teleport there is going to give away some information that Rondu is no longer available for the chamber, but the spike has gone down. The Boombot, I'm sorry, the nade might be doing a little bit of damage towards the back, and of course, this utility from Fade, we saw it in action last time. We managed to capture poor Dumpling, but it's going to be the deadly crossfire, in fact, coming in from Bren here. And there's much they can do. Weeby gets one, but it's going to be, they're almost closing it out. Zinni with the 3K this time. It seems like Bren is keyed in, and they make it through that round without much loss here. Only Mikasi does go down, but you know, she still will be able to buy in either with the Spectre or perhaps with a Shorty or a Judge. You can never tell with these raises. But really, like this Fade, she's doing so much here, whether it comes to information, whether it comes to being able to clear out angles. I mean, and the combo plays coming in as well. Like, you know, it's really annoying because, you know, you can break her haunt, but you can't break that little net that catches you. It just keeps you pinned in place until the timer runs out. So definitely something that really in conjunction with the Raze utility can deal a lot of damage to the side of Bren here. In the meantime, and Thirst Threat still, sorry. In the meantime, that's going to be the push again coming through on short, relatively quick, and it's going to be because he does take the nade. There's a little bit of damage being done with the Molotov. Dumpling being spotted, and yep, that's the mobility we're talking about. She makes it in, goes for it, and it's just a bit of jiggle peeking coming through. No, Dumpling gets two somehow there. How?
Beautiful collateral coming in from Dumpling as well from Lamp. Zinni for the trade. However, Ratatouille's will be taking Ali as well, very much safely, but that is going to be a respective trade. Afterglow with 37 HP, that's gonna be one. Not gonna be another. Zinni goes for the refrag. Zinni will be pushing in, takes that gun, but Shabby is in her tails to secure the third round, which is quite understandable. It's quite expected for Thirst to really win out the third round of our game because they do have the rifles to work with. Look at that quick replay right there. Beautiful Colat. Although Fade wasn't able to really get or suppress rather, or contain Dumpling in the vicinity. But the fact remains that Dumpling just really utilized that narrow space from Lamps. And to follow it all off for the other members of Thirst, they really didn't neglect the capabilities of rotate from the side
Mm.
of Victress at this moment. So Shabby, very much fast on her feet, did not let Zinni get that Phantom earlier in towards that fight. So here, looking at how things are gonna go, both of our teams are very much
Ooh.
healthy in terms of weaponry, and Shirazi opens it up, taking Shabby down. Shabby, who's supposed to be, one of the snipers, or really in good performance for using the chamber. So we already is in here. We'll be whipping a bit, but we gets the job done. But Cine will be having a trade though as well. So this is gonna be a 4 versus 3. They're quite delaying their pushes here. I feel like they want to decrease numbers, but
Oh
Ratatouille is
no.
going to win that fight nonetheless to equalize manpower. But on A side, though, that's going to be the Nightfall once again. We'll be detecting a Ratatouille's as well. So in this specific scenario, I do like it how Bren is going to have that post-plant situation simply because they just gotta wait for the defuse to happen. So Afterglow, I feel like he does have the Seekers to work with in here as well. That's gonna be a two to be seen on towards Lance. Ratatouille is for the quick peek here. Nice retreat from Zinni, but how, to what extent though? We're seeing a little bit of a crossfire coming in right here. Lexi with a one, making a double, and Zinni for the cleanup from behind, getting their 3rd point.
That was quite a long round there, but they managed to make it work. The rotation really coming out in their favor. And of course, that Nightfall buying so much time there. Of course, let's take a look at the shots again. It's going to be quick trades coming in here. Ratatouille, I don't know how she hit that, but of course, it looked like it was going to be going in the favor of Thirst Reds there, at least number-wise, but the crossfire was too much for them to break, and that's going to break their eco along with that round. They do have 2 major ultimates to work with, the Hunter's Fury as well as the Orbital Strike, but with this reduced weaponry, they're going to have to be really careful about it. They don't even have the Tour de Force available to work with. Oh no, the wide swing from Shabby. She's going to be paying for it as Alexi takes her down here. And of course, a little bit of bait coming through, but Afterglow, she's gonna swing out because of the Blink Shells here. Again, Zinni getting Dumpling as well to the team. It's all just down to one player. Ratatouille's left in a 1v5 right now. Only a Sheriff in hand. Does have her entire kit, but I don't know how much she can do here. She's just gonna be waiting towards the flank here, trying to see if she can take down anyone. But nope, already a headshot coming through for Ali, and she's gonna close it out flawlessly. I don't think anybody from the side of Bren even took significant damage here. Shirazi lost a bit of her shield, but nope, everybody else looking absolutely fine in that quick banger of a round. But this is the thing, Bren, they have the economy, but Thirst Reds, they might not have as much money in the bank, but they definitely have ultimates to play with because almost everybody on their team is either close to it or they already have it.
This is actually an interesting buy coming in from Thirst as well. This is quite understandable because they do want to really enter this battlefield in quite a fair play, or a more in a fair playing ground. So here, I do like it how Bren is quite proactive in terms of playing around the map. When I say that, I mean like they're proactive. They have the capability to rush, or they do have the capability to delay the push. Because notice how they're just leaving that spike on towards mid. They're waiting for Thirst to be aggressive because Thirst does have that tendency to really push or to overextend more than that they need. And I feel like Bren is just capitalizing on this fact. So now they're playing the silence game here at the moment. If they are able to spot out one and able to get one down, this is the time wherein they really capitalize on their presence or on their area that they want to push along. So this is going to be 4 people. Shabby will inform people that there are at least 2 or 3 now in the battlefield. Alexi just started off with a beautiful tap, denying Shabby down. Wee as well in towards Smoke, tries to conceal her location. Shirazi's not gonna see it through.
Oh, no.
Making a double as she takes Zinni down as well from elbow. 1 versus 4 on the clock here. Let's see, Showstopper, is it gonna come into fruition? That's gonna be the res. Will it come through though for the side of Mikasi? Will actually take Wee down from elbow. That's gonna be the spike plant here. 4 versus 3 from supposedly a thirst game. But here we do see everything's not yet over, but they're quite really crowded in towards elbow. A little bit of a jiggle peek from Ali as well in towards Hookah. Really getting that warning signals going. Spots out Ratatouille's. Mikasi with the one, they get a 3! And Ratatouille's for the trade, but Zinni secures it with her taking it down with the 5th point. Zach, this is starting to get dominating as we expect it to be.
Yeah, and that was a lot of utility committed in as well from both these teams, especially from the side of Thirst Reds here. They managed to use the orbital strike, but no, they don't get anything out of it. And it's going to be a timeout coming in from them as they figure out where exactly they're going wrong. I think the main issue they're having is at least one of their players is being caught off guard. And by the time the trade comes through, they're already in a bit of a disadvantageous situation. Like every round, it seems like Shabby is just not ready for it on that B side, playing a little bit too aggressively, not rendezvousing out in time, and in general, just trying to capitalize on what makes her like incredibly good, her aim. But they're not giving her any fair fights here. There's no 50-50 because it always seems to be a double peak coming in from the side of Bren Victress here, and they're not letting Shabby do anything. However, she does have that tour de force available this round, so even if the economy isn't looking too good, they do have those ultimates to work with. On the opposite side, though, the bank is looking incredible for Bren Victress here. 7,000, 5,000, 4,000. It's incredibly high here. So going into this round, I'm pretty curious to see what First Red has cooked up here. It seems like they want to go in for a bit of an A stack, 3 players here, and it is of course Shabby and Weeby left in the B side alone. They are going to be going towards long together, in fact, and this is going towards long and Hookah. The thing is that Shabby, I don't know if she's pulled out the tour de force yet, so it depends to be seen if she can do anything with it. That trademark being put down is going to give away a little bit of information as she falls back. But, oh, it is going to be the spray coming through, in fact, and the Hookah being taken already. The font is possibly going to give away the location of Shabby here. And oh, that combo coming in between the nade and the fade utility is going to catch her. But Shabby still gets one somehow. Spike goes down though. And this round, the retake is on 43. And the backstab was already in play. Chamber is aware of it. Ali spots out 2 players. Ratatouille gets her with the share. 3v3 now, but Ratatouille is looking a little bit unhealthy there. Of course, they do have the Sky to heal her up. That is going to make a little bit of a difference, I would say. Playing Shells used to clear out long, and that retake is still on the hunt. 3 players watching towards this angle. They have to take care of Mikasi first. Ratatouille gets the trade though, and the round ends quickly with that double kill coming in from Alexi and Zinni.
At this point, our Victress is literally unstoppable, at least in their own turf at the moment. And look at a bit of a whiff there, but Ratatouille gets one. But Mikasi and the rest of the Victress just knows when to retaliate or when to respond to their fallen comrades. And I'm loving it. I'm living for it simply because they do, they're not letting their guards down. And at the same time, they're not letting their deaths of their teammates in vain. And for Thirst right now, I think they're slightly in the pinch right here, not really finding that kryptonite or that strategy so that they can at least break the streak that Bren is currently having. A little bit of potential here in towards Showers. Dumpling decides to retreat for now because again, this is the Fender side. They do have the luxury to wait up until that spike is planted. So here we are going to look a little bit of a more passive approach for the side of Thirst. They're waiting for these peaks. But then again, Bren does have I feel like the upper hand here because look at how they position themselves. They're double peeking. They're not letting anyone like go alone at this point. So here we're seeing Shirazi and the gang slowly going in towards Garden. I feel like they're just baiting out the audio cue from the orb earlier. Shirazi takes a peek right here to Ratatouille's. Will be taking Shirazi down at the moment. But look, Fade and the gang slowly walking their way towards here. And it's interesting how Mikasi was able to go to Hookah despite all of that. And here Shabby gets one as well in towards Hubby. This is actually a good end capabilities. Nightfall will be placed upon the beautiful collateral from Ali in towards backside of A. And now they're all running in towards Showers at the moment. Afterglow will be detecting 2 in the sides. Also, to retaliate with the Prowler, you have sneakers, I have my pet as well. But here, we do see post-plant situation is gonna happen after Glow has a lot on her plate, a lot of corners to check, but she's already greeted with double picking by the crew, with Ali securing this with a beautiful 4K in her name.
That was a fantastic lineup coming through for Ali here. For a second, it looked really, really bad for Bren because they were only 30 seconds less on the clock. They were at a woman's disadvantage, and it seemed like the site was impossible to take with the chamber on top there. The lineup and the ults coming in from Zinni was absolutely perfect. That is going to give them the round 7-1. Things looking quite bad for Thirst Threats. They should still be able to buy in, but it's going to be a lot of a broken buy. Half armor specters. They do have that operator on Shabby, and this is the thing because we've seen how dangerous Shabby can be when she manages to get her hands on that operator, but she hasn't had a chance so far. She didn't have the ultimate, and she finally managed to get it this round, but it's make or break. If Bren take this round away as well, Thirst Threats is going to be at a horrible round differential, and going back, the comeback is going to be so daunting to make against the kind of agents that Bren is running right now. Shabby, though, she's going to get the first. That's going to be a chamber drift coming in as she takes Ali down, and Dumpling playing in the smokes gets another. Finally, signs of life coming in from Thirst Red here as they get 3 kills already. That's going to be Alexi down as well, so no res even if it is right there. And they do have the orbital strike if they want to try and commit it, but so far they're just going to be waiting here because they do know that there's a possibility for a push because of the demise of their chamber. So any kind of mistake the Thirst Threats make, that's the opening that Bren so desperately need to get back into this round. The thing is, they're already 7-1 ahead, so any kind of economic damage they can do as well to Thirst Threats, it might be a huge difference maker because the bank is so empty right now for Thirst Threats. They've scraped to the bottom of the barrel to be able to buy whatever they have this round. They even managed to get those upgrades, so you can see Afterglow and also Dumpling picking up those rifles instead. And it seems like they want to go towards the inside. Dumpling spots them, gets one, almost a second, as Shirazi left in a 1v4 right now. No time on the clock, and there are still 2 players here waiting for her. Has to stick the plant now, and it's going to be somehow we're getting the kill, but Ratatouille is betrayed. Nevertheless, second round on the board for Thirst Threats, and they do it without too much loss, only losing 2 of their players. Keep the off as well going into the next round, and that might be the difference maker here to take it from perhaps a 2-7 to a 5-7.
Again, here into a quick replay at the moment. It's just so surreal. At least a Thirst was able to get their point this time around, and looking at how they were able to do it. It took quite some time for them to at least find that footing. But if they are able to, really capitalize on that specific play, maybe they can, catch it up all until to at least make it into a 7-5. But Bren Victress has, this capability to really bounce back whenever they lose their specific rounds. So that's an early orbital strike, to say the least right now. Look at that Nightfall as well, detecting a lot from Elbow. Beautiful deny here by Alexi rather, as well, just trying to really get that post plant going. That's gonna be the boom bot as well. Not gonna detect Alexi in that little corner back there. So let's see how Ratatouille's and the gang are going to do it. This is post plant position. They have the luxury to wait, but look, Shirazi's gonna be detected. Hunter's Fury as well going to be here. They're forced to really reposition. Alexi, however, is able to reposition herself as well. That's going to be Orbital Slime. Afterglow will be taking advantage of that. That's going to be a showstopper. Mikasti, actually, Ratatouille takes 1. Mikasti for the trade. 3 versus 2 this time. All they have to do is just buy time at this point, but Shabby denies her from that fact. They are going to get that defused. Actually, no, Shirazi takes her time with a beautiful clutch. 3K in her name. The timing is just in her favor. Shirazi knows how to read the room.
That was really phenomenal coming in from her because they had no idea of her position until the very end there. And, the fact that she manages to connect that headshot and just falls back, playing so much time there is going to get them the round. Even if they didn't have the players, they did buy enough time with those ultimate investments, especially that from Mikasi. Notice how she waited until the last second to use it. And
Yes.
again, the economy looking so rough right now for Thirst Reds here. Again, it's going to be the close play and the smoke coming through from Dumpling. But this time, Sarva, it seems like Bren is too wary to, just run into it. They are going to be using a lot of its ability to clear these angles, and it's going to be the Sky forced to fall back. Dumpling, though, she takes out Ali here. It manages to pick up that rifle. It might be exactly what they need. Oh no, the shorty coming in play as well. Good available for picking up if they can manage to get their way in together. It's going to be 3v5 right now. Lexi not looking very healthy either, takes quite a bit of damage. And look how look, Brizzetti's just ready for the flank, but turns away at the worst time. That's gonna be 2v5 right now. Shiradi taking that 2 somehow. That spray down, but still 2 players left here. Alexi and Vinny. Obviously gets both those somehow, and it's all down to Dumpling. I'm sorry, get the opening pick. Added it to 2G. That's gonna be the resurrection coming through, and the clock is still ticking here. But no, Alexi, she's gonna bring that round back from the break. 2v5 to just 2 players left along with that present. One around from Bren here, 9-2, looking so strong on their map pick. Seems like there's a reason why Alter Ego insta-ban bind, and this is why they're just looking so incredibly strong here. And Thirst Reds, they're not able to counter it at all.
Again, the bouncing back is just the name of the game here for Bren Victress at the moment. And you do know your stuff whenever Bren does pop off like this. And if they are given that momentum, they are not going to hesitate. But right now, Dumpling has something to say that we are not going to give up just yet. And she gets 2K from Showers. Boombot is going to be destroyed. So Ratatouille does anticipate one here. Uses the satchel to reposition herself to safety with a cost of 35 HP in the process. She was tagged with a bit of a chip damage from Mikase as well with her paint shells. So look at this though. We do see Ali right now in towards garden. Not sure if she's going to be able to detect Shabi, who's above, but actually wins that fight instead. Wee Wee, however, is there for the trade. Now it's a 2v4. This is showing some good life for the side of Thirst at the moment. But then again, Mikasi and Shirazi are the ones remaining who's been very much popping off for the team at the moment. So here we are seeing them entering the sites. Not sure if they realize yet. Crossfire after Glow here is able to take Mikasi down, and Shirazi with the dream not gonna be able to take more as Dumpling secures it with her 3K 9-3. Zach, we've been seeing this specific scoreline for quite some time. This is what we call the 9-3 curse. Do you think it's going to work favorably for Thirst Red, seeing their performance right now? Or do you think that Bren Victress does have the capability to really pop it off once their defender side had happened here?
I think both teams are definitely capable of a lot. The thing is that there's a lot of pressure right now on Thirst Reds because they don't have much of a margin to work with here. It's only 4 rounds left for Brent to be able to take this map home, and so far they're showing every sign of being fully capable of doing so. The thing is that their comp, it's extremely favorable towards defensive because they have that Sage Wall, they have the Chamber trademarks, they have so much info coming in there from the Fade as well, so definitely it's going to make things really rough for the side of Thirst Reds to even get any kind of purchase onto the site there. They're going to have to be impeccable with their approach, and of course it is going to hinge upon this pistol because unless they do manage to get it in their pocket, it is going to be 11-3 possibly looking at the scores, and making a comeback from that, I don't know. We did see a comeback yesterday coming in from one of the teams playing. It was a 9-3 half, and they take it all the way to 13-11. I think we're taking the victory. They didn't lose a single round going in on attack. So unless we see something like that from Thirst Reds, which I'm sure they're fully capable of, we might just see Brent take this home.
And okay, I accidentally muted myself like that. But I mean, for the side of Thirst, I do agree with you on that. A little bit of a pressure is coming in towards them here because again, as much as this may be a 9-3 curse, there's still a possibility of Bren, really giving off that win streak in towards the second half. we've already witnessed how much dominating they can be and really not letting Thirst get that certain amount of space. I did mention this from yesterday when I was able to cast one of the games of Thirst. They do have this. I will be quoting one of my co-casters here. They do have the ube strategy, or the ultimate bonding experience. I mean, understandable, because they seem to, they tend to really group themselves together. I mentioned this earlier. They tend to be group oriented, meaning they don't want to push, they don't want to peak alone. But there are a lot of instances in towards this bind pick wherein they decide to actually split together, and it's not working for Thirsts at the moment. So I feel like this could be the slight factor wherein Bren can take advantage of. Take note that they are also in the defensive side. I
Hmm.
am taking this with much emphasis that until that spike is planted, the defender side can
Hmm.
really literally chill and just play for those peaks, and wait for the attackers to just come through, and the time pressure is on towards Thirst at the moment. So I have been seeing a very rapid moments where Thirst is able to capitalize on sites. But right now, looking at this alley opening our half here, taking Shabby down. But there's gonna not another, actually, not a trade, but Shirazi is going to take Ratatouille's. So two of the initiators, or at least the ones to entry from Thirst, is already out of the board. So right now I'm seeing them. They're basically reuniting here in towards showers, but because of the smoke, look at them triple peeking already inside. The flash not gonna get anyone in here. They just have to play these cards right. But look at this, the entry from Dumpling, and after goal, that's gonna be a double peek. But DD for the trade, Shirazi as well. From Krabi denies their entry point and will remain here. We not gonna get so far. Ren takes their 10th point.
That was a really good round coming in from them, especially off those initial two picks. The aggression towards B long, three players absolutely pushing without no care in the world, really managing to pay off for them because they catch Shabby on the lurk. That's gonna force the side of their threats to play a bit faster. But this is something that you mentioned, right? Ultimate bonding strategy. Well, that's not gonna work out well because you see these combo plays coming in from the race and the fade for the side of Bren. We've seen it like at least work out twice or thrice now, and it almost worked out a third time in that round. They're lucky that they were a little bit over aggressive there. Either way, there's gonna be no force because there's no spike plants, and it seems like they want to go into the side, but they're gonna be pushing that brimstone Molotov. Not exactly a very good idea. You see how low so many of them are. Shirazi trying to hold down the fort here will be forced to fall back because she hears about what three players running at her. And yeah, that is going to be at least short control gotten for now, but I don't know if the plan can really go down here because the smokes go away at the worst time possible, and the fling comes out from Shirazi. She takes them both. In fact, 3 kills coming through for her. Does a lot of damage to Shabby as well. Red Ali, though, she's going to take down Shabby. It's all down to just Afterglow left alone. Just with 20 and 10 HP to her name. Does a little bit of damage to Mikasi, but the round is going to come through for Bren again. 11-3, looking so strong on their map and looking absolutely unstoppable, in fact, with that flawless defense coming through. And this is what I pointed out initially as well. Like, if they can manage to get that huge lead on attack, defense is going to be so easy because Thirst Thread's comp, it's not as suited for its defense, but Ren's is, and they're really capitalizing on it with the utility as well as individual plays coming in.
I feel like there is, I mean, as much as I don't want to point it out, but it is quite the obvious miscommunications that have happened there towards Thirst. I would like to see the replay on a different perspective, but this is what I have seen so far. So you did mention that okay, again, this is, it's already staple. Thirst loves to really push together and really liking that triple peak or even quad peak if ever. So the thing that really made them fall into their demise during the previous round was entering Cubby knowing that there was the Molotov coming in from Shirazi. Number one, when everyone enters there with only not the best weaponry to have, their HP is already depleted. Knowing that the members of Bren already has, specters to work with, the spray is very much easier to do. So, okay, they went and enter into the Molotov coming in from Shirazi. Okay, they were able to really capitalize on the lamps area, but the moment that they exposed themselves into sight, Shirazi was there waiting on the back of triple just to spray. Another thing that really had the issues for the side of Thirst is that they peeked her one by one. Notice how there was an interval with before Shiraz's 3K before they were able to shut her down. But actually not shut her down, more like her being hiding into safety. So because three people are already down and about, it led Ratatouille's to really be caged in towards Lamps, and with Bren Victress very complete and present into the previous round, there's really not much that TST can do. So here, upcoming in towards our round here, as we wait for the technical pause to be done. It was a nice save, to say the least, for Thurs. It was a nice eco. You gotta say that. But I feel like in being a bit of too aggressive, in towards that pistol, or not really pistol, more like the second round after the pistol in towards our
Yeah.
second half. This is the habit that they tend to do, and I feel like this is readable at this point. First, when they lose the pistol, they push. Everyone just pushes, regardless of their sides. You saw
Yeah.
this in the second round of our very second round in towards this game, and they did
Yeah.
it again here in towards our second half of second round. So
Mm.
because of that, it has been coming. It has become a pattern for them, and which makes it readable. I feel like it's an understandable statement because I feel like Thirst just said, oh, okay, let's just go for the third round and get these guns blazing. But there is also the thrifty capabilities here right now as we enter. Let's see if it does work out for them, because look, nice wall deny to start it off with Alexi, even though it kind of chipped her some amount of damage. I'm not good at math, but it's near 40. Maybe 39, I guess. I'm not sure. But then here, in towards, as they enter this specific site, notice already 3 people are in A towards side of Bren, sure, but they're not neglecting the rotate. It's gonna come from them potentially. But Ratatouille's open it by taking Alexi down.
Yeah, at least they do manage to get that first pick there. And of course, second comes through as well, but Chabi is finally there for the trade. Mikasi, though, looking incredibly strong there. And oh, they finally managed to get the plant down 3v2 right now. Ali does manage to pick up that upgrade, but the retake is looking a little bit rough right now. They have to clear out all these angles because they do not know if Thirst Red has pushed up yet. They haven't, but that's beside the point because the information is completely lacking. It's going to be the Prowler coming through that does the job here, but it's not going to really give away any kind of position from these players from Thirst Red. Does have the Haunt available, that might help out. The Molotov as well going to give away a little bit of information as to where the Brimstone is playing, but they haven't cleared this, and Weavy is able to take down both in quick succession. Finally, Thirst Red's getting around with that upgraded buy, and they managed to take 3 rifles into the next round as well, so they should be able to buy back up here. But that's the thing, this is going to be a really pivotal round coming in for the side of Thirst Red, because this round that they won here, it was against slightly lower range weaponry. They didn't have to deal with much except Spectres. Now, though, the full power of Bren Victress' economy is finally kicking in here. They have 2 rifles, they have an operator as well, and this operator, we saw Mikasi with it yesterday on Fracture. You got somebody you want to be able to, you're going to be dry picking into, and it seems like she has the read right. She's going to be heading in towards showers here. Recon Dart instantly being broken, giving some information away, and it's going to come down to whether they dry peek it or not, and she's going to get one right off that after those shoulders, prodding it out here. The Haunt again giving away Weevy's location as well. That's going to be a little bit of stalling coming through because she's not going to be able to move there. They're just opting to book it towards this B site here at this point. They're like, nope, we don't want anything to do with Mikasi and the operator. But the thing is, on the B site, they have to get through the Sage and this Brimstone utility here. I like it. These are these agents with so much stall potential. The slow orbs, the barrier orb, the Molotov, and Alexi, she has the bait wall down ready. They might not expect her positioning here.
This is so cheesy.
Yeah.
This is so cheesy coming in from Alexi, but then Shabby knows better and actually checks corners. But then again, if that could have been a different story, if Alexi does places herself in a bit more concealed area. So far so good for the side of Thirst. They were able to at least take Alexi down, but the trades coming in from Bren is just so surreal. They were able to take 2 for the trade. So basically Alexi's death not really went in vain at the moment. And Zinni here just really quick on her feet, takes one, make it another. And of course, Shirazi with the ult orbital strike to be in place, already revealing after that smoke, but Zinni actually secures that
This is
that
your
hit
luck.
or that thing
Thank
with the
you.
3K, and just like that on a
Push your
whim,
button.
that
Save the
was
day.
already match point. Not sure if it was Shirazi or if it was Dumpling who did the ult back there, but opening it up here, just looking at the quick replay,
Missed me.
it's just, the way that they place their crosshairs and their anticipation is just too surreal that, again, look at this. It made, I feel like this is a TST timeout, which is, again, understandable because you would want to reset everything to its maximum potential. You would want to really try to work things out or try to create a strategy wherein it may be favorable for you. So Bren Victress here, I don't really have much question. Again, this is one of the reasons why you ban out Find because Bren really thrives in this map. But then again, at the same time, there are moments for the side of Thirst that they know exactly what they're doing. They know their plans. They know how to really set things out. The only problem is that it's either they're easily shut down in the very first seconds of the game, with either in the likes of maybe Mikasi or Shirazi who's been watching out through Cubby, because I have been seeing a trend that Thirst does like to peek a little bit on
Mm-hmm.
Cubby a bit early or
Yeah.
showers a bit early, and then they would try to rotate from B. So because they're
Mm.
easily shut down, manpower is already in favorable hands of Bren. So looking,
Such.
yeah, it made them, at least for Thirst, it has become a trend that they are in the reactive side of things. That, oh, okay, they're going to have to move fast because they are the spike planters here. So
Yeah,
in this
but
specific match point, Zach, what do you think?
I mean, it's looking a bit rough right now, economy-wise at least, because there is going to be just the Spectre and the Guardian as well. Shabby gets taken down. And that's the Orbital Strike coming through as well. Dumpling trying to get a little bit of space, but unfortunately for her, nobody is playing inside that angle there. No one's playing inside the U-wall, and that's going to be just free. Ali as well, though, she's going to tank the damage and try to get some kills here, but Ratatouille, she takes her down. She's too good. She's too wary for that. It's going to be 4v4 right now. Alexi, though, only 2 away from the resurrection, and that's a quick rotation coming through. The issue is the side isn't entirely clear. Mikasi, she's here in this long angle and no one has looked here yet. And yep, she gets one, but Tisulis is again there for the refrag. It's gonna be 3v3 right now. And look at this lurk from Afterglow. She's gonna hear the TP coming through and she might be able to get the flank in. Spike should go down as well. They do have that Nightfall available, but oh, the peak coming into the Tisulis is so good here. The trigger discipline, though, it's not working in her favor. She's being forced to fall back a little bit too greedy there. And yep, she's gonna be paid for it as Shirazi takes her down. Just 2 players left right now for Thirst. Let's make that one. Afterglow in a 1v2 right now. Does have the Seekers available. The spike is not planted for her. All Shirazi has to do is hold her up. And that's gonna be the 3K for Shirazi, and Bren take the first map. Their map pick 13-4. An extremely convincing win and performance. And they want this, and they want this hard, Zaya.
As predicted, Zach, we did see it right here. Bren is definitely going to dominate in towards their map, not really letting any team, really beat them out in towards their T. And right now, again, congratulations to Bren for winning game number 1 with a 13-4 scoreline. Later, we're going to see how the scoreboard is going to be. But Zach, it's a very, as you mentioned, it's a very convincing game, or it's a very convincing match one for to start off our day. And I do wanna commend Thirst, however, because they are group oriented. There are still some highlights from earlier that they were able to really get those rounds across. We are seeing that they know what to do theoretically. Again, it's just more of Bren literally just shutting it down at the very early seconds of the game. That it kind of resorted to Thirst not really having that plan B in mind,
Mhm.
and it has come into a point where in the rotations and them being going into a certain site is already much anticipated by the likes of the Victress from earlier. But let's look at the quick scoreboard, shall we? Just to have a quick rundown of everything that happened from earlier. Zach, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, looking at the scoreboard, it's gonna be Ratatouille, so it's the MVP for the side of Ben here, but on the sorry, for the side of Thirst Reds, but on the side of Ben is Shirazi who steps up today. And this is what I mean, like if you look at the MVPs for each map that Bren Esports plays, it's never the same. I think yesterday we saw Mikasi, we saw Ali, we saw Lexi step it up, and today though it's going to be Shirati who takes it away on that brimstone. And we saw how insanely good she was. She got so much damage right from people running to her Molotovs, and of course the gunplay coming in was absolutely impeccable. She seems to have really gone in for some extra death matches because she really wants this victory, and especially there's so much on the line here for Bren Esports because for Thirst Shreds they don't really have a chance of making it to elite from this qualifier, but Bren, they're in contention. If they place in that top three, they're gonna be qualifying for elite right off this. So their lower bracket run, it matters so much more. And they're really showing it that when it comes down to it, when they have to win or die, they will do whatever it takes to win. And what a way to do it too. 13-4, not much of a damage differential, but the frag wins. It's just a sheer diff there. 10-4.
I'd like to highlight as well for the side of Thirst Red their headshot percentage 26%. So, meaning from the majority, or actually, majority of our rounds right here, despite them losing it, they're still able to take their heads nonetheless. And of course, this has been also a very trend for Thirst Red. Their headshots are completely accurate. It's like to try and estimate this on a ratio. It's like 7 out of 10 of their bullets is actually, or their shots is actually, on the head. So it's safe to say that, they do have their crosshairs placed in a very, in a good situation. Again, it's just about anticipation we're in and the timing as well that kind of really falter off for TST. But then again, we are gonna go into game number 2, Zach, right here with Fracture this time, and this is the alleged turf of Thirst Red. Do you think they're gonna be going into game number 3, or would Bren Victress just throw them out in their very own map? We'll find out after a short break.
And we're back from that break after that explosive first map coming in from Bren Victress, taking it 13-4 on Bind, their own map pick. But we're in for a change of scenery right now because the second map on the list is going to be Fracture. And so far, Thirst Shreds, I don't think they've been defeated this open at all on this map here, doing incredibly well. They beat Extent Crit on it in the group stages. They beat Sovereign. And yesterday, they beat Orangutan to be in this matchup today. So definitely looking incredibly strong on Fracture so far. Arguably one of their best maps here. And it's me here, Zach, and with me here is Zaya. And let's take another look at the maps here for today. So, Zaya, what do you think about Fracture?
Fracture, again, I did mention from earlier, this is more on the territory of Thirst Red. They have been winning their Fracture maps here for time and time. So from earlier, I did anticipate that Bind is going to be dominated by Bren. But for Fracture here, this could be this could be an advantage point for Thirst, but at the same time, adaptability is also a key factor for Bren Victress. So if they are able to find some certain amount of pattern against Thirst, I feel like this could also tip the scale, maybe in the middle phases of our game. But anything can still happen at this point, Zach, simply because, with the likes of Fracture, it's a smaller map. Just try to remove the zip lines from the middle area. Remove it, annihilate it. You basically have your split 2.0. You know.
Yeah, definitely. The zip line, of course, we saw the rotations coming in yesterday as well from Bren. The thing is that this is a map that Bren is also fairly comfortable on yesterday. We saw them go up against Alter Ego, and while they lost, you need to remember this is Alter Ego. So the fact that they did put up quite a bit of a fight, I would say, on Fracture, it means that they can't exactly be counted out. I think it was 8-13 that was the final score. And the thing was that they managed to lose so many rounds in the first half that while they were able to make a comeback, they had no room to make it. Even if they lost 1 or 2 rounds, it was going to be mapped for Alter Ego. So yeah, they would want to try and prevent that kind of margin coming in from the side of Thirst Shreds. But if you look at the sides coming through, it is going to be, I believe, Fracture. It's going to be Thirst Shreds that's starting off an attack here. And the kind of Asian picks that they've taken so far in the past, it really enables them to be able to go for it. Because Ratatouille, she's one of those agents, she's one of those players on Raze who's so incredibly strong here. Anyway, I think we are heading into map select right now. So let's see what kind of picks these girls have for her. Of course, we talked about Thirst Shred here, but for Bren, of course, they like to run that double duelist, and we have news that in fact there's gonna be a sub coming in, the 6th number playing instead. It's gonna be Mikasi being subbed out by Twirly here.
And usually, if they are going to have Twirly in, usually it's either Twirly being the Reina for the team, or it could be a bit of a flex, but it depends on what they're going to choose later. We are going to head on to the agent select here for our team as if on cue. And right now, I'm already seeing what they hovered here. Twirly is going. Okay, if it's not going to be Reina, it's definitely Twirly for the Killjoy as the flex. We did mention that from earlier. Ali will be having this Viper. I do like it because double smoke composition right here. So I like the take of our Victress having to focus more on the utility base. But look at this. Instead of actually a Killjoy, Twirly will be going up with a Neon. Usually would see Twirly as a Reina, but right now it still fits the bill of having Duelist in her name. And Neon being placed here in Fracture, we kind of see Neon not really performing well in towards a map like Fracture, but it could be a different case for Twirly because Twirly recently we have seen her very much pop off whenever she is being subbed in or being replaced out in a certain condition. Meanwhile, for Thirst, we do see again a bit more fundamental or the El Classic coming in from their team. We do have Shabby still going in with the Chamber. I do see a Breach. I also do see a Sage. So it's quite a normal for them. And the Sage is also really common for Fracture simply because it kind of delays any amount of pushes or it delays any or gives intel actually whenever this wall is destroyed. So it depends more on Thirst whether they do have this tactic at hand.
I mean, It really helps them out because if you do look at it, they have that wall also to enable them to cross into sites. And we've seen that before, especially on the A side. They just pop it down and run into site as long as they can clear it out here. So definitely things looking favorable for them. But again, like you mentioned, this double controller pick coming in from the side of Bren, it's fantastic here because it gives them so many more options for execute. If they were running only the solo controller, which was the Viper, like yesterday, I believe, it's going to be a lot more problematic because if you put down your wall, you're not going to be able to take it back. But right now, you're going to be able to assert control all over the map here with this double controller play. And of course, Neon coming in from Shirley, that might be even better than the race from Mikaze yesterday because on a big map like Fracture, the sights might be small, but the rotations are long and swirly. She's going to enable them to perfectly catch the timings here. Either way, they're heading into this pistol. Look at the
Oh
aggression
my
from her.
gosh.
Just slides into the DMs there, but gets taken there. Ratatouille's having none of it. The flash coming through as well. Enablement on a trade here, but Alexi is there to trade it out. And it looks like it's going to be one player going down for each side here.
Aggressive plays coming in from Bren, despite them being the defenders here. No fear of actually, taking them out. That's gonna be a heal from Wee Wee there, and they slowly transition themselves to A, maybe creating some presence to B. But I feel like that kind of faltered down, at least for the side of TST. They're taking their time, which is okay. They still have 50 seconds to spare, maybe trying to bait out. Look at that fake rotate here. They initially went for A main, but then goes back and regressed to B. But I feel like Alexi, once the smoke is gone, they might be greeted with her very own sheriff and her lover and friend with only one bullet to spare, was able to rendezvous her way to safety. And here, that's going to be a bit of concussion. That's also going to be a retaliate coming in from Zinni as well. And just like that, they were able to just capitalize on the skill sets of Zinni. Alexi with the 3. Not going to count it out this time around. Spotting out Wee Wee to start it off in Bren's name.
That was such a good hold coming in from Alexi and Shirazi there. I'm sorry, so it's from Zinni. There's so much time brought off the breach utility. You could see the concussion tremor. You could see the flashes, and it's just gonna be an awkward stop there because there's a smoke coming through as well from Shirazi, and it just seems like the B main approach is completely blocked off. Again, they're not gonna be getting a plant in this first half. They are first round. Sorry, they are gonna be having to go in for just the classics while Bren has those upgraded weapons. And it seems like this time they're going to be going for a very relatively simple push together. But again, the utility coming in from the Neon and the Breach, both stalling so much here. Turley pushes her way up aggressively. The Aftershock as well, trying to prevent the crossfire. But it looks like getting into the A side is going to be an impossibility right now with not 1, not 2, but 3 players just waiting for their threats to walk into their embrace.
They're quite intimidated, actually, with all of these skills that are going in. That's gonna be a beautiful concuss, beautiful 2K from Twirly as well with Zinni. That's gonna be a 3rd. Make it not a 4th, because the reload is gonna happen in front of her face, but Dumpling with only a little HP to spare. Beautiful right click for Zinni to get their 2nd point.
They somehow took down Ali as well in that fight. They're looking a little bit awkward. But yeah, nevertheless, they do manage to survive with 3 players, and I think they get the guns as well. Yeah, Shami takes down Ali with a nice headshot. But the concussion, the tremor is too good, and it's going to keep the round coming in as expected, to be fair, for Bren here. But this is the round where it's the full buy. And in fact, Alexi, she's going to be going in for that upgrade, so there is a hero rifle for Bren. If she's in the right place at the right time, it might be all the difference that they need to try and take this bonus away, Zaya.
I do agree with you on that, but so far, TST has yet to identify how they're gonna do this. Shirazi with that beautiful flank from drop is going to take 2 down, but Alexi takes and capitalizes that fact of their attention being driven in towards A, will be taking another. Still complete in attendance for the side of Bren here. They all rotate from B, but this time they are going to plant the spike on A. A little bit of an extra economy here for the side of Thirst, extra 300, still getting more than what they actually have. But look at this. Right now, 3 members going from A main, and the other 2 are basically going to try and sandwich out the other members right here. Double peeking capabilities, make it a triple here. Wee will be greeted by 1, but look at this, make it a double for her. It worked in her favorable arms. Ali will be going for that trade, make it a double as well from the behind the scenes. And look at this little bit of a whiff from Wee Wee, securing this round again in the hands of Bren.
That was such a beautiful coordinated push from Dish and B Arcade. They're trapping the two players from the side of Thirstress. They just weren't ready. I think Afterglow was the first casualty there. No, Shabby in fact was the first casualty there. And of course, immediately afterward, the Tatuli's going in. He trying to stop it, but that initial advantage was too much for Thirstress to disadvantage was too much for Thirstress to overcome. They lose the bonus and they're gonna be in an eco right now. Just a Marshall available for Afterglow here. Everybody else on just pistols and sheriffs. Things looking very rough right now for them because they're not able to get any kind of map control or any kind of purchase at all from the aggression towards Bren here.
Technically, they have to save if they do want a more better weaponry on towards the next one. So they're gonna go for a full-on sheriffs, except for Shabby because she does have a sheriff of her own and doesn't need to buy. But right now, in towards this specific map, I do understand why TST is just going all around the map and trying every possible entry. Because A main, it's a quite no-no for them. B main, they haven't tried it yet. They did try from behinds from Arcade, but look at this alley. Once they drop, they just go one by one here, making a quad real quick here, Zach. And the hunt is on for a potential ace. She already spots it out, but Wee Wee denies it. And just like that, though, but Tarazi from behind of Wee Wee may actually get her there.
There's another player up here as well. If she can somehow get this, it might be the round. It might be the change in the round they need, but nope, that's not happening. 4K, very clean spray down for Ali there. Let's take a look at that again. Extremely precise headshots. it's like she's playing against the range here, the range bots there. One by one just picking them. A little bit unfortunate for Thirst Reds, but yeah, this is a round that they really need here. We've seen them play incredibly strong before in Fracture. Just a bit of a slow start. If they can win this round and start, this can be the start of their comeback here as they go forward. Because if they can get some kind of momentum, it might be useful. In fact, that would have been a good time for a timeout there, I think. Either way, though, again, the aggression from Bren here towards main. Just reach leading with the utility. The Neon as well, the Crossfire is so deadly here. And again, it's gonna be all the Thirst players stacked up here. That's gonna make life so rough for them with the stuns coming in from both the Breach and the Neon. And of course the flashes as well, buying so much time here. It seems like they're not gonna be able to get in at all at this rate.
And again, TSC has yet to find their groove, but Afterglow started off taking Zinni down, her clone, and Wee Wee and the gang, triple, actually quad peaks, Swirly as well. But that is also information for Bren, however. Now into the ropes. Will be greeted by Ali right here, but not going to be spotting out Afterglow as she takes her from behind. Now this is going to be a 2v4 man advantage in the hands of TSC. Could this be the round that they're opting for at the moment? This is going to be another extra 300 for a TSC, but the clutch capabilities can happen if it works entirely on a Bren's door. But now they're quite, speaking of door, I feel like they're gonna risk in going in here, but there are flashes prepared for their greeting, so let's see how they're going to do this one out. They do hear the gun. That's gonna be Alexi taking one down. It's gonna be another though. Wide peek from both sides. Alexi takes a second slow orb here. Do they have time for the defuse? That's gonna be the molly to force them to reposition. Shabby to deny it. Wee Wee to secure it.
Yeah, the thing is that Bren, even if they lose this round and give TST one, it's every single weapon they can take down from the side of Thirst Reds is going to matter because their economy is in such a rough position here. They will be able to buy back in after the saving of those two guns, but nevertheless, the more damage you do, the better in general, and they're relatively being able to capitalize on that because after 4 rounds in a row, they have like almost a full bank here. Definitely, though, really well played by Thirst Reds. They're finally able to trade and capitalize, and the patience coming in. They paid out all the utility almost from both Twirly as well as Zinni there before they make their way in. This time though, it's Alexi activated the Tour de Force, lying in wait for the side of Thirst Reds to walk into her crosshairs. And in fact, it's going to be, I think, this double operator as well on the side. Really interesting play coming in from Bren here. Oh no.
Oh. A very whiff there coming in from Alexi as well. Wee for one, Ratatouille's to go entry and getting a kill of her own. This is now a 3v5. Not the best case scenario for Bren at the moment, but a good one for TST. Look at that, Concuss will be taking one as well for Swirly. But right now, look at all
Oh
of
no.
these utilities that are thrown out. Ratatouille will be taking Ali from Link as well, faking the diffuse audio. That's gonna be a good toss, but there's gonna be a push, but Zinni's not gonna work it out as Dumpling secures it with a flawless round for the team. A little bit of redemption for TST.
Yeah, that's the momentum switching back in this round as well. A flawless, and on top of that, they also have so many ults to work with. They have the showstopper, they have the orbital strike, and Shabby, she just won away from that tour de force as well. Bren, their economy looking a little bit busted here after the two losses. In fact, you're gonna see some light armor as well as a Spectre and Judge come in. But to be fair, that Judge, it's a weapon that's not really a downgrade if you use it in the right position here. And Shirazi, she seems poised to do so. They want to go in for this A approach, and it's just a Viper here, honestly, that they have to contend with on the site, though she is backed up here by the chamber as she comes in. Meanwhile, it's Dish being aggressively guarded by Twirly here, so it's still looking a bit rough. If TST don't get this initial pick, they're not going to be able to get side quickly.
Tried a different pace for Bren, to say the least. Earlier they were taking A main, but now they're kind of falling back or toning it down because they're already starting to see that TST is a bit more aggressive than usual. So I like this how Alexi anticipates one from box, spots out that leg, tries to wall bang it, not gonna be into sights, but decreases her health but up to 60. Although there's gonna be heal coming in from Wee Wee as well. But you have to take on that's gonna be orbital strike. Not gonna spot anyone in that pixel peek. Alexi takes Ratatouille's down. Not gonna be another because Wee Wee with the res, but Alexi goes for the trade after Glow with a kill of her own. But Alexi with the 3, that is just too much for the team to bear. Ratatouille's will be having the showstopper from Link, but not going to get anyone in the process, as now the spike has been planted once more. Alexi with the brink of health, 10 and a dream. Let's see how Bren is gonna make things work.
It looks very dangerous right now. And Twirly gets that peek and that headshot onto her. Weeby gets one, but Shirazi is there for the trade. A 2v4 situation like that. And the timing was so perfect as well for Thirstress because they have to watch so many angles in here and they don't know where exactly the players are approaching from. And yeah, that's gonna be the beautiful headshot from Twirly, really making things easier. Bren finally finding the footing again after losing 2 in a row, but they are back and they're here to play. And they also managed to get a lot of ultimates out of the way. I think they got all 3 in fact. They got the Resurrection Orbital Strike and the Showstopper. And of course, you have to give credit to Ali there, I believe. She was holding the most incredible off angle before, not Ali, sorry, Alexi. She was holding the most incredible off angle before, rendezvousing out of there like one and done. So sure, she takes some damage while getting the 3rd kill, but after you get 3 and you're still alive, that's the round 1 for your team, more or less.
Let's play.
Alexi with 11 kills to her name this time, really popping off for the team. But Ali's also not faltering behind with 7 in her name. And just like that, I like the Viper spit here. It completely denies any rush push from TST. They know better, at least for Thirst, to not enter there because they know that they don't really, they do have the guns, yes, but their health will definitely deplete, and of course that could be a very good, spray down for Bren if they do decide to enter. Right now, they're gonna transmit themselves towards B side. That's gonna be the paint shells here. Shirazi, though, again being very cheeky. This is gonna be orbital strike from the site. If yes, then this could be their chance to retreat. But Shirazi will be taking Shabi in the process from Arcade, so that's gonna be a respective trade. Concuss as well, but Dumpling from behind takes Swirly down, but not looking in towards B main. Shirazi takes from flank. We'll be spotting on the run from box. We do see Ratatouille uses the satchel to reposition herself in back of the site, but right now Alexi's just waiting for the perfect moment. But that wall actually saved her and concealed her location. Spike is there, and 2v3 on the dot. They spot out Alexi. They know where it is. That's gonna be the teleport. Let's see how it's gonna go. Dumpling with a 1. Is it gonna be another? No, Alexi will be refragging for the team, getting their 6th point.
That was a lovely round. The flame from Shirazi there was so huge, and again, this is another reason why Chamber being nerfed in the recent patch is such a huge thing. Because before when you're playing on Fracture, you could have a trademark on either side when you're on attack here, and it makes your life so much easier. But right now, you constantly have to have another player watching the side your trademark is not on. Otherwise, you get flanked here. To make things worse, I think that she did go down pretty early as well. Shabi was one of the first picks they caught, so of course they don't know if you're being flanked. When you have a knee on, your timings are going to be incredibly precise, or a Brim with a stem beacon. Either way, that's going to be Charlie again regaining her confidence, going in for that early aggression, but Shabi, he's going to make her pay for it. Hero rifles for two players with Afterglow and Shabi able to get them in hand. I think that Dumpling as well has one, so definitely things looking quite good here for Thirst Shreds. They have that first pick. They also do have some map control here, and they deny that. I think Axelis might even be able to pick up this upgrade. So yeah, that really makes things like swing significantly in their favor here.
Mm-hmm. And Twirly, I feel like that was a bit of overextend on her part, a bit of at least trying to be aggressive as possible, only to be greeted by three. So at least they kind of know, or for at least for side of Bren, they do have an idea that okay, in towards the defender side, I feel like Thirst is just going into that area. They're utilizing the zip line. So here we see on towards that mini map three from drop. Not we do see Alia watching drop as well, but or Lexi rather, but up to what extent? So this is gonna be a drop as well going down. That's gonna be one. Oh, they're not seeing this one yet. Look at that beautiful crossfire. That's gonna be another for Alexi in that space, and beautiful repositioning, but Sabi cuts her down. And looking at how things go, that's gonna be the rolling thunder. Afterglow takes Ali in towards heaven, but from behind, Shirazi's just very quick in terms of rotating for the team. And they don't already have time to plant the spike. Not necessarily have to kill them, but you know what? It kind of works, because you look at their utilities. It also led them to their demise.
Oh, the timer there was their downfall, because even though it was a 3v3, and the thing is, Shirazi's fling was so fast, the spike was dropped on the drop, and that's going to trigger a timeout right now for TST. Already the lead looking from Bren here, looking almost insurmountable here. They really, really have to pull it together to be able to, to have some kind of damage in the attacking half. On their defending half, sorry. And so far, it seems like Bren, they're looking unstoppable here, because even if they do lose the early advantage, this is what I'm talking about. They really, really get that information and capitalize off it. For example, when that player went down, she's gonna call that I see 3 or 4, and of course Shiraz is gonna use that and pop that stim beacon and make a quick run over towards the dish there, and she catches the spike. She catches Dumpling off guard, and that was around. Even though they had the player advantage, or at least players equalized, that was around there. It was so easy for Bren, and these reads coming through from them were absolutely precise. And I love that their aggression is not just one player going in most of the time. It's always backup. Like this time, Twirly went alone and she paid for it, but usually it's Twirly and you see Zinni or even Ali to back her up, or even Shirazi and Alexi. This kind of double combo play, team play, is absolutely paying off for them here.
True, I agree with you on that as well. But again, this timeout for TST I feel like this is an understandable timeout, because again, it's a similar standard or a similar pattern that happened in game number 1. So I feel like they do want to take their time to reset everything, not just strategy wise, but also the momentum. I feel like they want to break it, but at the moment, Tour de Force is already in towards Alexi, peeking aggressively towards B main with no hesitations. That was a warning shot at the moment, but let's see. Shirazi is also there in towards the backsides. This time they are not really as aggressive as possible. I feel like they told Twirly, okay, Twirly, let's just stick together, and we push this as a family, as they might say it at the moment, right? But look at this, because TSC is holding ground. I feel like they're the ones actually identifying this through and through. That's gonna be a double. Is it gonna be a triple though? Quick shift with the sheriff. I wonder how this is gonna go, Zach.
I mean, Afterglow wants that kill. She's hungry for it. But look at Alexi here, holding so strong. Vivi finally able to trade that out. And that's going to make it a 2-3. As towards the opposite side, it's going to be up to 2 lanes to take such Shirazi. Just one player left right now. Ali all alone in this 1v3. Has to clear out every single angle here. Wait that Boombot out as well. Rasuli. She's going to opt to fall back. In fact, try and play with the rest of her team here. Because again, the economy, they want to save every gun possible. They don't want to give any kind of free, fair fights to the side of Ali here. Ali though, she's gonna peek out and will spot Hercules gets one. Now 1v2 right now, still looking so healthy here. Definitely a very doable task. The crossfire though, it's strong coming in from these players here. Both Shabby and Weeby content to watch here. The heal comes back as well. I think it might be even close enough to hear the sound heal, but nope. Weeby's gonna take her down with that headshot, and that's gonna be round number 3 finally for Thirst Red. The timeout really working out there.
I mean, it is only fair because into the very start of the game, we do see them really traded out bodies in towards B main. So Ali, I do like her sense back there, not her game sense or her aim, as to be precise, because she did look at the high angle back there, so it kind of denied. A could have been a 3v, at least like a 3v0 situation for a TST from back there. But again, I think Ali could only do so far at that moment because the crossfire capabilities were still there. So now in towards this fight, we are going to see a little bit of a more default for both Bren and for both Thirst. I feel like they're gonna have another attempt here at A main simply because at least the previous round it quite worked for them. So they're gonna have a different try. Whirly this time, not gonna let them be taking her out. Decides to actually take that first blood instead. But the next thing that we have to ask here is that what would TST do in this situation now that they have a bit of a disadvantage in terms of manpower?
I mean, they do have the resurrection available, but it seems like Bren is aware of it because they are playing extremely close to where Dumpling went down. They don't want to let that free resurrection coming through. I think what they're banking on here, they have 4 players stacked up there. In fact, wow. I think what they're
as well.
Yeah, what they're banking on here is a little bit of distraction coming in from the drop once that smoke fades out, and perhaps they'll be able to make their way onto site. But the position of the Brimstone Shirazi is really good here. She's just waiting, watching for the double peek. Might be too strong for her to contend with, and of course there's a timer as well to contend with. I don't know, TST looking extremely rough here. That's a spike dropped as well. 20 seconds left. I don't know if there's much they can do.
The spike is too far from them. The 3 of them are in drop, and Spike is already, in the hands and very much safeguarded by the likes of Bren. So in hindsight, as you mentioned, this stack coming in from Bren actually worked out from them. And the good thing about here is that the other members of TSC actually don't know that they're heavily stacked towards A. So there's also the possibility where, they could have spread out. And this has yet to be maybe another tactic that Bren could use, in the later phases of our game. So with that, it just really went well for Bren. It's as if they're making a crochet and now they're on their way to making themselves a sweater, to really cuddle you at the moment. But in towards our scoreline, 8-3, this is the last round before we actually switch sides. So what is expected for Thirst here, Zach?
I mean, they could, extremely aggressive play could work out for them because they almost do have the showstopper available. Never mind, that's going to be offline. However, if they can get her back alive with that resurrection, it might be what they need. Shabby, she's going to be peeking into that operator, but gets the headshot of Lexi. Alright, I see you there, Shabby. That's an excellent shot there. We continue to look at her position. She's going to be caught off guard here. But Whirly, as she gets Afterglow down and manages to get out of there as well with that high gear kicking in. So much utility being spammed at 4 players here, and oh no, a little bit overheat coming in from Twirly. That's gonna let the rest of her team fall back here as the advantage comes back, and the resurrection will come through as well. And guess what that means? It's time for the Rolling Thunder from Afterglow. She's in the perfect position to use it as well if she wants to. And so far, it looks like the rotation has come through as well, except for Ali. 2 players left here, but they're both playing towards an angle where they're not going to be hit by that Rolling Thunder.
Orbital strike for Shirazi as well. How many can they get? Not so much, but it dictates their health. Shabby takes 1 city for the trade, but Krabi takes 3. Ali to respond with 1, but Dumpling cleans it up for the team. 8-4. This is another scoreline that is first. When I say that, because 8-4 was the first scoreline before 9-3. So again, that they really like their superstitious beliefs at this moment. And for TST, actually they've been doing really well. This is a much of an improvement in comparison with game number 1. At least now this is a more of a viable scoreline that they can actually turn around when the second half appears. So far that I have been seeing, to say the least, for the likes of Thirst, or let's start with Bren first. Is that Bren? They know their stuff. They know when to peek and they know when to play. The only thing that I could have seen, Twirly being a little bit of a over aggressive. So the tendency is that yes, there is the information gathered before she dies, but at the same time, her presence is also quite needed, especially in the later phases of the specific round, because she's a duelist, and of course she would really want those walls and then those concussions to be of full use. So notice, Zach, right? Like in the likes of Twirly being present, and not in the later phases of the game, they win those rounds. But with Twirly gone, I feel like there's a bit of a drift that's happening for Bren. But what can you say about Thirst, at least for the first half?
I mean, they had a lot of trouble dealing with the extreme aggression coming in, but from Bren. But once they figured it out, they were able to like pull it back. I think it was 7-2 at one point. They managed to take it to 8-4, which is pretty commendable of them. And 8-4 is definitely a score which you can come back from. It's not undoable. You just get the pistol, and it's 6-8, and suddenly things are looking much more doable here for the side of Thirst Threat. So definitely you can't count them out at all. And again, this is Fracture. This is a map where they're so strong on that defense here, especially with the comp they're running, right? You do have the Sage, you do have the Chamber, and of course the Brimstone. So a lot of utility that you can use to make sure that the side of Bren can't even access the sites here. I really like the Sage as well, because we've seen Sage on this map before, coming in from other teams, and it's just such a good pick. The double controller though from Bren, it's gonna be wrecking quite a bit of havoc, I think, with the fakes and other things. So the read from Thirst Shreds, it has to be pretty good here for them to take it forward and possibly make a comeback.
I mean, I would agree on your sentiments as well there, Zach, but everything is still on paper. It's up to Thirst to actually thrive into potentially tying up our scoreboard. So this is also the advantage of having a very good scoreline as well, at least for Bren. They do have extra rounds to spare, and they do have those extra time to really set their footing if ever they tone down at a certain time. But here, because the sides have been switched, I did see in towards the stats that Bren does have a very good advantage in terms of attackers. But we have yet to see that, because if earlier we did see Thirst looking very much well in their attackers as well, or in their defender side, I am excited to see how they are going to play this out. But here, no fear at all going from underneath the B site here. Let's see how this tactic works for them.
Yeah, so far they're content to be rather patient here. The wraparound coming from under towards tower by the side of Bren. They're trying to sandwich this site. I think they'll be content just to wait out this wall as it breaks here. Because again, if you're gonna break that wall, you're gonna give away a lot of information, and it only lasts for 30 seconds. So they might just want to outweigh that barrier orb. In the meantime, it's going to be 2 players that they have to deal with: the Sage as well as the Brimstone here. This barrier orb seems very, very close to breaking, and that's probably gonna commence the execute right now. Again, it's really gonna spot out at least 1 or 2 players. But Weeby, she's gonna get the first engagement, taking a lot of damage here. But Twirly, that's the Neon there. She manages to zoom it all the way and take her down. First pick already going towards the side of Bren, and of course a lot of damage being done as well. The Brimstone is forced to fall back here. Ali though, she's only 34 HP, so any kind of bullet that she takes, it's gonna probably take her down. You're playing extremely aggressively as well, and yeah, that's gonna be Resistability taking her off guard with that frenzy here. The retake is on and the clock is ticking. There's Shred though. They seem like they're very much capable of it, as the flashes come through from both these breaches, countering each other, and the trades are quick.
Ooh, that was a bit of a closer, but as Shoes will be taking 1 Zinni for the trade. It's a 2v none this time around as Bren Victress. Upon cue, it's as if, you know what, Zay, you don't need to say it anymore. I'll be killing it for you. And just like that, the retake capabilities, or not really retake, post plant rather capabilities of Bren is just really strong at that point. So notice, at least in that specific pistol round, Bren took their time in actually entering the site. They didn't use any utilities whatsoever. They kind of depended on their aim at the moment. And the moment that they kind of uh eradicated one from the site, they immediately go into sites and then use their utilities afterwards. It means that, they really spent it wisely. And this is going to be a similar scenario, actually an opposite scenario now for a site. They now expended or spent their utilities with ease. Alexi with a beautiful double tap right there, making a third before Shabby actually shutting her down. So what's going to be the call now for TST here?
I mean, they know where Shabby is. She gets one though, a very, very clean headshot. Has to get the ace though to close this out. And if she jumps down, she's gonna be stuck between. Oh, a little bit of a jump peek there through the smoke is gonna give away that there are at least 2 players here. At this point, every single gun she can get is gonna be damaged. But no, Sydney just sprays her down through the smoke. And again, this is a gamble stack coming in from the side of Thirst Red here with those classics. They go for the B side, but unfortunately for them, it was the A side that Bren chose to hit. And, again, it's going to be the full buy for Thirst Reds right now, but when you do have Spectres on a map like Fracture, we've seen this before, when you have a Neon, when you have the Brimmy with the Stimmy to help your team out, Spectres can be devastating here. And we saw how Bren did close out the bonus on Fight. I think they'll be looking to do the same thing here.
This so far, it's really looking good for Bren at the moment, and Twirly is just capitalizing on her mobility at this point. But because they do have the Spectre to work with, it'll be a different thing. A bit of a whiff coming in from Shabby as well, despite having the better angle. In that fact, Twirly here will not have a wide peak, but will be taking Ali down. That's going to be the trade. Judge moments for Dumpling, however, from the sides. But Ratatouille's will be shutting Shirazi down. Alexi for the tap in towards Link. But let's see if they do find her out here. She does take a Vandal for herself, really scavenging those guns as well for later. But this is a 1v1 situation, so anything can happen. But Dumpling's already pre-aimed towards ropes. Let's see who gets the spot. Who first? It's actually Alexi, with Dumpling transitioning her view at a different perspective. That was really stealthy coming in from her.
Yeah, poor Dumpling was just stuck in an awkward corner there, not knowing where she's gonna be pushed from. She knows the position, but she doesn't know if the rotation was back, and the timing was played so perfectly by Alexi there. Like, she really, really capitalized on it, by playing extra slow there. She knows that it's gonna be Dumpling who has to look away and possibly watch the wrong angle there, and of course it's gonna be Bren who take that bonus as well. Another eco right now for the side of Thirst Red. Dumpling, of course, does have that judge again. She got 2 last time with it. I don't know if it's gonna be enough here. Again, the Sheriff from Shabby trying to do some damage here, but it's gonna be the peak coming through and her taking a lot of damage. The aftershock of all things takes her down, and Alexi and Zinni are just farming here. It's gonna be just poor Weeby left, and Ali is gonna get that last kill for a flawless victory to match point. Bren looking so close to a 2-0.
A very speedy round at that. They literally capitalized on, Twirly here as well, but starting it off end with their utilities. Look at that! The moment that they've been shaken by the utility usage of Bren, that's just where they all push. And that's actually a good thing from Bren, because they know that this is the very vulnerable time for TST, and a very good time as well to really take control of the sites for the post plant. So this is again another timeout from TST. This is also the similar scenario coming in from the first game that we have, Zach, and a similar scoreline as well. So look at this, Alexi with the chamber, 22 heads, 22, and with her taps. Usually she uses her Sheriff for this whenever they do try to save, but again, you also have to commend the utility usage coming in from the other members of Bren, because it's as if it's timed. Okay, it's like they kind of plot out, okay, which utility to use first, what advantage or what timing they should use whenever they try to enter after dishing out this said utility. And it's as if it's very much organized or orchestrated beautifully by Bren. So Zach, how would TST come back from this?
I mean, they're playing for overtime, because at 11 11-4. They went for a save. So definitely they want to take this to overtime, but they have to play a flawless game here,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to be so hard. They do have a lot of ultimates to work with. It's going to be Ratatouille, though, starts things off with that showstopper pushing onto Alexi, but Alexi's going to get that kill, and the trade comes through again. Weeby, though, she doesn't have the resurrection, so that's going to be making things a lot harder for the side of TST here. Meanwhile, look at the aggression coming in from Bren, who's just going to be holding towards B, waiting for a pick, and in fact, it's going to be Twirly who might take that first point of contact. Weeby just waiting for any kind of push coming in from her. Here's that door being played with, but not sure where exactly to look here, as it seems like the spike, in fact, it wants to go towards the B side, and there's only Afterglow left there, all alone to try and make this work.
It is a bit of a difficult here, although this is a 4v4, manpower is quite equal as well, so Twirly may have that audio cue going and the wall as well above, just so that she can get more on the tower. That's gonna be a flash.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna be able to get a kill as Ali secures and protects her comrades in the process. That's gonna be a spike plant now. This is gonna be a full-on retake for the side of Thirst's Red, but this is quite difficult because they already positioned themselves in a beautiful post plant position. They don't need to peek this. They just have to wait for the diffuse cue, you know, that audio cue coming in. But right now, the utilities from Ali is just too surreal. Orbital strike, rolling thunder, everything is just being dished out at this point here in time. A little bit of a wavy there, but Ali for the 3 Twirly to end it. And just like that, 13 for a similar scoreline from game 1, Bren Victress proceeds to our bracket.
Yeah, definitely taking it there, and in such a dominating fashion too. 13-4 on both these maps. And you know, on Bind, you might have expected them to get the win, but on Fracture, it was a surprise that they got it so strongly because, you know, again, it's Thirst Reds is a team that's not exactly to be taken lightly, especially on a map like Fracture where they haven't lost yet, I think. Especially in this open, but nevertheless, Bren do it, and they do it in style there with that overwhelming lead. So of course they're gonna be moving on. I mean, yesterday we did see them lose, but they look extremely strong here, poised to make this lower bracket run upwards and onwards. And again, I think if they do make it to top 3, they are going to be qualifying for Elite right away. So they seem like they're on track to do it. But we gotta talk about the gameplay coming in from both these teams, especially from the side of Bren. I think one particular round I was really impressed was it was when the Breach expected the TP coming in there from Shabby, you know, the rendezvous coming in, and she aimed her aftershock right exactly where she knows the rendezvous was gonna be. So poor Shabby, she just got aftershocked out of there. Little things like that really made Bren look so strong here. On defense, they attacked. On attack, they also attacked. That seems to be a summary of the game.
I mean, I do agree with you as well, Zach. And you have to give it as well to TST. They were able to really get their shots there. And it was actually like a similar thing in towards their bind map as well. They know what to do. They do have the blueprints handed out for them. The only problem is that they can't really convert it into an actual score because again the retake capabilities from Bren is actually there. If you notice, there is quite a delay in how Bren does the retake. So what Bren does here, at least from what I've observed for both the games that we've had, at least, is that they have the capability to retake by using their skills. So they really spend their skills wisely. But you know, more of that. But let's check out the scoreboards real quick here for both sides of the team, just to see a quick reflection of their performance. So starting it off here for TST, we do have Wee Wee here as their MVP with 204 ACS and 12 kills. Alexi, however, really popping off with the ACS 375, 3.1 KDA, really a double to what Wee Wee has right now, and 23 kills on her name. And you gotta hand it as well to the other members respectively because they have done their part just so that our MVPs can really go in towards this stage here.
Yeah, it's a bit unfortunate because usually for TSD, you have that duo from Ratatouille and Shabby both absolutely popping off there, but today it just seems like they were not able to
Ooh.
capitalize on what they're so good at. But look at this coming in from Bren here. They do have an extreme amount of damage and 10 frag wins as opposed to TST's 4, which shows that firepower wise they've definitely been popping off. And this is the thing, the headshot percentage for TST is going to be a great deal higher, I would say. But I think that might also come from Brent doing quite a bit of spraying through the smokes as we saw there.
I agree with you on that, because for the side of Bren, of course their headshot capabilities are there. But I feel like at this point it is safe to say that TST knows how to really get those heads. And if you notice those headshot percentage of TST, it doesn't go below 20% or 22% at that, at least from what I observed. So here, at least in towards their objectives, they do have it in the more leaning onto Bren. And speaking of Bren, this is going to be their MVP from all throughout. We do have Alexi with the chamber, KDA of 3.1, ACS of 375, a percentage of 11.8. That's quite high. Average assist of 2,
Wow.
damage per match is 4,107. So notice that she's very much, in terms of kill participation, she is there. And her headshot percentage is 22.1%. Very much expected from a chamber player with the likes
Mm-hmm.
of Alexi. And you know what? With that being said, congratulations once again for Bren Victress to proceed to our tournament journey.
Yeah, this is even more insane considering that they were the players who had to play last night really late. I think it was like about 2 a.m. their time to wake up and come back into this game with this kind of performance. Kudos to them. And of course, Alexi today is going to be the MVP here. And before we head off for the day, let's take a look at the brackets to see how exactly this tournament is proceeding. This is, of course, a lower bracket game where it's going to be SMG and Bren both advancing the second match of both 2-0s, in fact, really, really quick games. And this is a really, really important match because this SMG versus Bren, I think both teams are again in contention for that elite slot there when it comes to points. So definitely Bren, they want to carry this momentum forward and try and get the victory. In the meantime, that's going to be ACL versus Nigma Galaxy. Well, again, that's a match that's going to make a difference when it comes to the prize pool. I don't think points wise it matters much because Nigma Galaxy, they haven't made it to at least one or two of these playoffs. They're not having a very good time in these opens. But of course, we will be seeing them in action in overtime for sure. And of course, ACO, they've already qualified. They're the queens of APAC for a reason. So I think if there's a match that I would be really interested in watching, it's going to be Bren Victress versus SMG, which is, I think it's going to be up next today, if I'm not wrong.
Yes, of course. The match 12, which is SMG versus Bren Victress, you guys will be seeing that on the mainstream for later. But the reason why I kind of reacted earlier in this match is that this is literally quite a throwback for me, to say the least. We're seeing familiar names once again to fight it off in the upper brackets and the lower bracket finals, which I'm pretty sure all of you are excited to see. But right now, this is actually it for the substream at the moment. Zach, it has been very much a pleasure to have Acid with you. And guys, don't go away just yet. You can transfer yourselves into the mainstream so you can watch the action of who gets to be in towards the lower bracket finals. Who's they're waiting as SMG and Bren Victress will be fighting it off for later. But now this has been it on behalf of Zach. This is Zach, and my name is Zaya. And of course, thank you guys so much for watching the substream. We'll be seeing you guys tomorrow.